Hi, welcome to this video day. It's Sunday, 22nd of October. We're going to be looking at a trade setup today. It's USD CAD, and we've done, I think now, 5 videos on this pair over the last few weeks. And we've been tracking it in terms of entry, stop and target. And it's moved higher. It's up nearly 500 pips, and it still looks good to us. I still think there's a potential, maybe even 400 to 900 pips to come. We're going to go to the charts in a moment and look at some levels of entry now and stops and targets and so forth. But when we look at the charts, what I want to do is also just keep in mind some thoughts from one of the great traders, a guy called Michael Marcus, in terms of 3 inputs that make up a high probability trade setup. And I think USD CAD fits his 3 criteria. Now, in terms of the markets, obviously we'll be using technical levels, but we're also going to be using the COT, our favourite tool in Forex trading as regular viewers. Now, if you don't know what it is, you can click on an explanatory video beneath this one. We'll watch the video through right now. Just keep in mind, we always want to trade with smart money commercials when their positions diverge away from large speculators. So let's start, first of all, with the COT, net traders positions. We are on the Canadian dollar daily chart, and on the COT data it's always the foreign currency first, but we'll obviously reverse it round in a moment to USD CAD and do some levels. But first of all, very briefly for new viewers, what we like to do is see what the commercials are doing in red. They're the smart money hedgers against the large speculators in green. We're looking for divergence. You can see a big divergence here. Major bottom off to the upside. Speculators are caught heavily net short. But when we get up here, commercials start to move their hedges and drop short. They think prices have moved too far. Speculators coming in to buy, push her up here. Yeah. Now at that peak, that's a 5-year extreme in speculative long positions. Okay. And I put it here, obviously, but we've flatlined for the last 4 weeks, okay? Now, you got about a 400 pip decline, okay? You can see here, the speculators will not give up their long position. They're just basically holding it. At the same levels, where the commercials are right against them, heavily net short. So, in terms of this pair so far, it is a nice profit, but this data makes me very bullish of the USD CAD. So let's go and draw some levels of stop entry and potential targets. When I draw my levels here, you'll see how I've used the weekly chart to back me up. And also, we look at the weekly chart. I want to go through a price overshoot and retracement. So we're going to come to the weekly chart in a moment. But first of all, in terms of good trades or high probability trades, I always keep this quote from Michael Marcus in mind. He says, the fundamentals should suggest there is imbalance of supply and demand, which could result in a major move. Well, we know that because we've seen the COT. The commercials have a fantastic track record of catching the big turning points, and very often they develop into big trends. You don't need to know the fundamentals. Okay, I've listed them out on the left in my view. I'll discuss them briefly in a moment. But if you don't like looking at the fundamentals, you just trust the COT, okay? Second, the chart must show that the market is moving in the direction that the fundamentals suggest. Well, it is, isn't it? It's moving up. It's moved up about 500 pips so far. Third, when news comes out, the market should act in a way that reflects the right psychological tone. What is the right psychological tone? Well, in terms of, let's say this is we're seeing it as a bullish scenario. Basically, the USD should just shrug off what many people or most people consider as bearish news for it. Okay, and CPI, Canadian CPI, was on Thursday. Okay, and what was the market expecting? Okay, this is a guy from Scotiabank. I put this in the member centre. I picked one. Sorry, of 10 banks that I follow, all bullish the Canadian dollar. They're economists, okay? He puts, we still think the Bank of Canada goes in December again to raise rates, and we're not anywhere near fully priced for that. So there's probably more interest rate risk in the CAD's favour from that point of view. He's an economist, okay? They crunch numbers, okay? They've got no idea of sentiment or prices overshooting. So a lot of people find this peculiar that, these people who are paid probably hundreds of thousands to give this sort of view, how frighteningly wrong they are. They're normally wrong. Just go and look at any bank research. If you looked a bit further, you'd see the Bank of Canada market's expecting a debt rate hike, okay? Bank of Canada said they're cautious. If you look at core inflation, it's low. Wage pressure low. That's despite near full employment. That's not peculiar to Canada. That's just the Western world, okay? So they're not going to go and hike rates again. They've also got NAFTA trade uncertainty. Commodity price outlook is bearish. Now, I know crude's had a bit of strength, but that hasn't supported the CAD either. Crude, in my view, will be coming down. Speculators too long. Right, now let's go back to the technicals. Okay, so down here, okay, we've just drawn that support line across those 4 candles. 5-year extreme in favour of the commercials. We'll buy at 121.65. Off we go to the upside, okay? Now, where we are on the chart, what have we still got? We've still got a 5-year extreme. So I'd be looking for higher prices. Now, going back to the news, this was the last video we did on this candle here. And we were saying that, if CPI comes in above the previous month, it doesn't matter because the Bank of Canada not hiking rates. Speculators are too heavily short. What did we get? We got CPI previous month was 1.3. September was 1.6, so slightly better. What happens? Does it support the CAD? No. The USD moves up by over 100 pips. Okay. Now, from our perspective, okay, we see the 20-day now as really good support. Okay, so do that. And what I like about this candle here, it's a nice big blue one. So I'm looking for follow through. We've got resistance here, you could argue technically, which is also actually weekly resistance. But I personally think we're going for a stop up to 127.80, okay? But because the speculators are just so short, they're going to get washed out on stop in my view. So I want to go for 130 up here. So I think that is on the cards, okay? So far this is about 560 odd pips in profit, but I think there's more to come, okay? You can see, we've still got possibly another 400 pips, or nearly 400 pips to 130. I actually think we're going higher than 130, which I'm going to discuss when we go to the weekly chart. But want to get here obviously first. Our stop, as I said, was 123.65. We close nicely, or we follow through next week. I can bring that stop up, lock in a bit of profit, and see how we go. Right, now what I want to do is go to the weekly chart. I'm just going to show you how these levels here, I've used the weekly chart to back up my view, and also I want to look at a price the weekly chart. And in terms of when I'm doing the daily chart, I'm always keeping the weekly chart in mind as well. Weekly chart gives you that really big picture. You can really see the big trends, and also weekly levels, if they back up daily levels, that is making the daily level more valid in my view. Just over here on the left, you can see this big rise up here, and I put overshoot, and then she tumbles down, okay? Retraces all of the move, okay? So the accelerated up move is retraced. Commercials obviously sell hard up into the 145, 146 level, and we come back to 130. We do overshoot a bit to the downside, but this move just literally retraces, okay? So if you think about it, 146 to 130, that's 16 big points. That's a lot of pips. Now, over on this side, this is just a motion, just like on the other side, where prices get pushed too far. You get the overshoot, and then you get the rebound, okay? Now, the rebound here is fairly mild at the moment. It's only, about 500 pips, isn't it? However, with 20-week moving average, and you have got a little cluster of resistance here. Is the level going to get run? If it does, then in my view, we're going to 130. I think it will. Speculators, they flatlined, they don't want to get out. They're going to come out one way or another, in my view. So up to 130, and you can see where support is as well. You got nice weekly support just below the 125 level. So once this level is taken out, we might move our stop up, which is still back here. But yeah, if you take the way the US dollar has fallen, okay, and how much we've retraced so far, 130 is easily on the cards. That's my objective, but I won't go through it all now. But my longer reading of the fundamentals, obviously want to get to 130 first of all, points to a move up to 135. So all of this big move down will be retraced, just the same as that one was there. Right, that is my view of USD CAD. We'll see how it works out in the week ahead. Thank you very much for watching me as usual. Take care. Have a good day.